So if you could talk to me a little bit about back to human, the fact that in this game we're going to a little bit more humility, starting over. It's the whole God attitude is kind of being put on the shelf right now.
Well, I mean, I guess the point in Kratos' life is different than what we've seen before. You know, God of War 1 through 3, it was kind of, he was going through, must kill Ares, and it was like, must kill Zeus, and then he was getting stronger and getting more godly. He turned into the God of War at one point. So this is before all that. So it's just a different time in his life, different things going on, and yeah.
But I mean, is the advantage here is to bring the game back to a smaller scale, or?
Well, it's not to shrink the scale. It's just more to show a different side of Kratos. Like after God of War 1, he just got angry and angrier about various gods just screwing him over all the time. So this is a little bit before some of that. So he doesn't, he's basically going to be in a different situation. I just don't want to give too many details like on the story itself. Leave that to the director, but. It's definitely a new time for Kratos.
Well, it's sort of an interesting change, in terms of what makes it different from the other games that are coming out,
yes,
or that people have played. Now we've got an interesting sense of combat in that you're now going to multiplayer.
Yes.
So we've had a personal journey, and now it's become a shared journey. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, in the past we've seen God of War. I mean, we've seen Kratos get stronger and stronger as he's progressed. But he had to do it under Kratos' terms. It's like whatever he finds, whatever he kills, like kind of gives him his abilities and gives him his, and you're kind of in the single-player story. This gives the players the opportunity to kind of create their own story, so to speak, in the sense that, what you earn, the gods you align with, the abilities you get are all of your choosing, and you will unlock them as the game progresses and kind of determine your own style of play.
We've got this multiplayer dynamic. God of War is very famous for the massive takedowns of large guys.
Yes.
Now you can basically bring in recruits, your buddies, to help you bring down the giants.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we looked at previous God of Wars, and some of the coolest things Kratos ever does is take down enemies. He takes down small enemies, big enemies, and giant enemies, as we saw in God of War 3. So in this game, we definitely want to bring some of that element to the multiplayer. Your player heroes will be taking down smaller enemies and bigger enemies together.
All right. So is this something that you can now, you've created a game basically that you can share with your buddies on the couch?
Yes.
Everybody can get together, kind of bring down a Mega-Cyclops?
Well, I mean, definitely online. On the couch will be, that's to be determined.
Gotcha, okay. And it's interesting in that you're not just sort of bringing co-op, it's actually a team play dynamic, right?
Yeah, well, what we showed today was a 4-on-4 team play, where it's like you're a team of 4 fighting another team of 4. And we also alluded to the fact that, two of those guys may have certain team-based kills, like we showed on the smaller Cyclops, them killing them together. And also the quadra kill kind of at the end where they all take down the big Cyclops. So there'll be a combination of team dynamic, but obviously versus stuff as well, where you can kill other players, do brutal things to them. Definitely we're just trying to bring everything you saw in the single player in the past to the multiplayer. Kratos has killed many guys, enemies and people, and your multiplayer heroes will be doing the same thing.
And it's not just sort of, firing up the game, everybody sort of jumps in and does a multiplayer round and then the whole thing's over. My understanding is that the teams can actually go up in level, that there is kind of a career.
Well, there's definitely a personal cure for your own character, because we want to make sure that you can ascend and gain abilities, get stronger, make choices along the way that kind of determine how your guy fights. Now, how your team might grow, that's more of something inside the match itself.
And in terms of the combat, this game, of course, takes place both in the past, in terms of history, but also in a mythological place.
Definitely.
What kind of combat styles are you drawing upon? It's not just, somebody hacking with a sword.
No, it's not. I mean, God of War has never been about just taking a sword and killing somebody. We've always had, godly magical abilities, god elements in the game, and the multiplayer heroes will have the same thing where, you choose your alignment, you choose your abilities, you choose what you can do, and in a sense, this whole match, this whole arena fight is to gain favor and glory from the gods. So they're the ones that kind of give you the the experience or the things that you'll be using to unlock more abilities for your characters, and they're basically the whole point of this. It's also it's a good part of being a prequel because the gods are still around.
Right. Yeah. And in terms of this idea of you aligning, there are 4 gods that you can sort of choose with.
Yes.
That means that if I play the game, that my Kratos is going to be different from, say, your Kratos when you play the game. Is that true?
Well, we want to say Kratos because obviously these are different heroes. But yes, your character will be definitely different than the one I may create. Because based on basically the style that you want to play. Some styles may be towards lots of damage and getting a lot of kills. Some might be to sustaining the team, healing. Some might be just being a lot resilient and be unkillable. There's a lot of things that the Allegiance will bring to the table.
Now, in terms of designing all the combat and the fight, the game has an amazing speed. A lot of action that's happening on the screen.
Yes.
How do you create that kind of frenetic, chaotic scenery, but do so in a way that the eye can still follow it and understand every move? Yeah.
No, definitely. Kratos, again, in the single player, he stands alone. He's like, I'm the one hero, I'm the one doing all these crazy moves, and I'm sure there's AI doing it too, but they don't compare to what I'm doing,
Right.
But, so the first challenge was definitely to figure out how to distill that into these guys and make it not seem like just crazy, no one can see what's going on. So part of that was to change some of the weaponry. We're not showing, Kratos' blades as a weapon for these guys. These guys will have smaller weapons or weapons that have smaller scale, so it's a little bit easier to contain the fight,
Gotcha.
So that way, Kratos, he swings his blades like 8 guys get hit, But for you'll swing your sword and just the guy in front of you might get hit. Now, that said, there might be some moves and abilities that are designed to hit lots of guys, but they'll be different than the ones that are designed to hit only one guy.
Right. And your combat is different from other games where it's not just one person hitting another person, but you've got actually environments that are involved. You've got machinations, machines, and large creatures and that kind of stuff.
Well, I guess I should have alluded to this more when we talked about bringing the God of War experience over, because it's not just about the magical abilities, it's about the scale, it's about the monsters, it's about other things that just kind of exist in mythology. Sorry. That exist in mythology and not in just basic gladiator fighting. So yeah, it's more than just I'm taking a sword and I'm giving it to you. It's also I might use this magical item to kill you. I might use this magical ability to kill you. I might kill this other monster, which gives me glory that I can in turn use to kill you. It's a lot more than just base fighting.
All right, and this will be my last question. What does it mean to be a god?
Well, I guess that depends on you, right? It's like when Kratos became a god, he became, very even more mad, right? Even more angry. So you could choose to, I think the key is power. It's like you basically get stronger and have more power, and you could choose to be kind of evil and just taking out everybody, or you could choose to be a little, nicer. It depends on you, I guess.